Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So since this is my first video in March, I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to do an endometriosis video because if you didn't know, March is Endometriosis Awareness Month. So I'm going to be showing you guys my endometriosis diet, or as I like to call it, my endo diet. Before we begin this video, I do want to put a few disclaimers in this video. Disclaimer number one, the information that I'm going to be going over is very basic information about a general group of people. What I mean by this is I'm going to just be going over things that you should avoid. Now there's some things that may flare up my endometriosis, but it wouldn't flare up another woman's endometriosis. So these are just the basic things that you should avoid. Other than that, you're gonna have to do kind of your own experimental things and see what works for your body and what doesn't work for your body, because we're all different. Disclaimer number two, I do want to put in there that I am not perfect by any means. I'm not perfect. I try my hardest to stick to this diet as much as possible, but it is not like my everyday life, like I'm like hardcore in this diet, because I'm not, and I don't want to put out these unrealistic expectations. I try, but that doesn't mean I always succeed. It's just something that I try to keep in the back of my mind when I'm eating. And the last disclaimer that I do want to mention, and this is going to be a disclaimer for my future videos as well, I don't like taking the medication that they try to prescribe to you for endometriosis. I'm not very big in taking medication like that. Orlissa, Lupron, I know those are some of the ones that they'll try to prescribe to women that have endometriosis. I have never taken them before. I've taken Lupron, but I've only taken it during the IVF process when I had to. I've never taken Orlissa in my life. When they offered it to me, my nurse told me to just do a lot of research on it and don't take it right away. And I did the research and it just scared me. So I do try to take a more natural approach to helping my symptoms. And I'm not putting down any woman that does take that pill, because I know a lot of women that take that pill and it actually helps them a lot. It helps them more than going naturally, because honestly, you guys, going naturally, you're not going to see results right away. It takes time for your body to adjust. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not putting down anybody who takes medication, but the most medication that I take whenever I have my flare-ups or on my period is I usually take NyQuil to try to go to sleep, because I do have a hard time sleeping when I'm in so much pain, and I'll take ibuprofen or acetaminophen to help with the pain symptoms. Alright, so I'm just going to go through the basic research that I found of what you should be avoiding. So you should be avoiding things in high trans fat or saturated fat, alcohol, caffeine, gluten, and red meat. So things in high trans fat and saturated fat, again, like I said, I'm not perfect. I really don't pay attention to that. I did it the other day, but just I read the nutrition label and I just saw that it didn't have any trans fat, and I was like, oh, look at me go. But it's not something that I like am very hardcore about and that I make sure I'm not eating any of. I would love to get to that point one day, but I really don't pay too much attention to it right now. Now, going on to red meat, I try my hardest to stay away from red meat at all costs. Now, this one's a little bit harder for me because Jorge, of course, he still eats meat and red meat. He loves his steak. So I don't take that away from him at all. So it is hard to like make dinner and then have to make myself something else, especially since red meat is kind of like the main dish of the meal. I have tried to go vegetarian I did it for 6 months. I was actually really good with it, and then that's when the pandemic hit and we started buying a bunch of meat because I lived with 2 boys who eat all the time. So we had to have a lot of meat in the house, and it was hard to buy my food because it's more expensive. And when we were going through the pandemic, we didn't know how our job situation was going to be at the time. So I did cut back from it. But if I can, I will try to avoid meat at all costs, especially red meat. Red meat really does make me flare up. So next is gluten. For right now, I don't really care about the whole no gluten thing, but I know it does benefit a lot of women who have like taken gluten completely. I do know women that have taken gluten completely out of their diet and it has helped their symptoms a lot. I actually know women who don't follow anything else but the no gluten diet, and it has helped them like tremendously. I'm gonna do caffeine next. I am not a big caffeine drinker. Every once in a while I'll have coffee, but I really don't like the taste of coffee, so I usually go to Starbucks to get coffee. And Starbucks can get expensive, so I drink coffee, I would honestly say like 1 to 2 times a month, and that's it. That's not a really big thing for me, other than like, you know, Coke and stuff like that. I'll drink every once in a while when I go out to a restaurant, but caffeine is not that big of an issue for me. Now, whenever they say caffeine, you don't have to completely take it out of your diet because they know people love coffee. They just say to drink, I believe it's 16 ounces a day. It's either 12 or 16 ounces for the whole day. And honestly, that's not a lot. What I would recommend if you are a big coffee drinker is to just limit that. Like, that's your caffeine intake. Just be careful of any other caffeine you take. And of course, water, you guys. Just drink as much water as possible. Last thing is alcohol. Now, out of all things on this list, alcohol gets me the most. Whenever I drink alcohol, I flare up so bad. After just one drink, my stomach will feel like it's on fire. My whole insides will literally feel like someone's just shooting fire into me. And I will get endobelly. Now, if you don't know what endobelly is, I'm not joking. It's just when your belly bloats, but it really looks like you're pregnant. Like, your belly all of a sudden will be like that. And every time I drink alcohol, my stomach gets huge. I get such bad endobelly. So I really try to stay away from alcohol. Again, just like the caffeine, that's not really hard for me. I hate the taste of alcohol. I'm not a big drinker whatsoever, which is crazy because I come from a family who loves their alcohol and loves having a good time. But I don't know, I never liked the taste of alcohol at all. This just started happening to me about 2 years ago, where I would feel that intense pain and have horrible flare-ups with alcohol, which again, like I said, it's not too bad for me because I don't really like alcohol. But my favorite drink is strawberry daiquiris. I'm gonna make a strawberry daiquiri with no alcohol. Let's do this. I got some daiquiri margarita mix in strawberry, and I'm just gonna pour a tiny bit of this. I poured like that much. Actually, I think that's a lot. Whatever. And I got my frozen raspberry, and I'm gonna throw, I don't know. I'm gonna throw like that much in there. I'm horrible at measuring. I don't measure things. I put like four big cubes in there. Oh crap. Okay, scratch that. Scratch that. I put 3 cubes in there. The strawberries were frozen, so those can act as some ice, but I'm getting real close to my max line. So I'm gonna take a lime, I halved it, and I'm just gonna squeeze some lime juice into it. And I'm doing both of the halves of the lime, so as much juice as I can get out, that's how much juice is going in. Last but not least, I'm gonna fill the rest up with water until my ice hits the line that I can't go past. Now we just put the lid on it, and we make our strawberry daiquiri. I feel like I should have put another thing of ice in there because it looks a little watery. Oh, Sai Loki. Look, do you want some strawberries? Look. So the 2 ice cubes that I took out, I'm actually gonna put back in now. And I'm gonna blend again. It's so good. All right, guys, I have so much to do. I actually have to go take the dogs to doggy daycare, and I'm really sad about it. And then I have to finish packing, so I want to spend as much time with the dogs as I can before I have to take them over to their doggy daycare center. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, I will see you guys next week, and have a great day.